Hey,
Hey,
Shemack,
hey, hey.
everybody. It's almost human live.
What's
And
up?
how you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
Um, Tony will be joining us soon. He's doing Sea of Tranquility. Hey,
Yeah. Oh, turn that
who the
off.
hell is that? Did you
That
hear?
was you. That was you.
Oh,
I turned the YouTube channel on so I can see all the comments.
right on. And now I got to go to the bathroom.
You gotta go to the bathroom, number one or
Talk,
number two.
talk to the people. Number two.
Oh my God,
Talk,
that's gonna take a
talk to
long
the
time.
people.
Is there
Talk to
anybody
the.
even here yet? Is anybody even here? Is anybody even here? Hello? Am I here all by myself? Well, anyway, hello, people. Today we're going to talk about Twisted Sister Stay Hungry. We were going to do another show, but we're going to do Stay Hungry because I think it's the 40th anniversary of Stay Hungry. And it's a really, really good album by Twisted Sister. Probably my second favorite. My first favorite is the first album. But who's in the chats here? Let's see. There's 9 people watching and there's no one talking. So you better start talking now. All right. Anyway, yesterday on my show on Rat Salad Review, we had Bobby Lucas from the band Attacker. Really cool guy. I became really good friends with him last year when he joined our King Diamond show. And I don't know if anybody knows the band Attacker. Please check them out. They have a new album out called The God Particle. It's very, very good. Bobby Lucas is a very good vocalist as well. And I might be working with him soon with another band. And really happy to do that because I've been looking forward to work with him and for a very long time. So it'll be a lot of fun. Let's see who's in chat here. Puster baby. Tony's doing Sea of Tranquility. Yep. Florida passed over for Hudson Valley, New York State. Yeah, he's over doing that show, and because we're schmucks, he just I go rather go do that show. But me and Ralph are here for now. Tony will be joining us very shortly. And what's up, Adam? Thanks for joining in the chat here. Good, because I hate talking to myself.
Nobody's here yet.
No, they're here. Just they just started talking.
I'm having stomach problems, man.
Oh, that's not good. Have
It's
you
just
seen the movie Let It Be? I haven't seen yeah, actually I did see Let It Be a very long time ago when I was a kid, yeah. But I haven't seen the new one. I think they remastered that or something, right?
yeah, but I don't think it's anything new.
No, I haven't seen it since I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. So I'd like to let my son watch it because he likes some of the Beatles songs.
Smart kid.
Yeah, yeah. What's up, Jolly Roger? What's up, Trevor? And yes, there is. Oh, there is not a 40th anniversary set for Stay Hungry. No, there is nothing. Nothing at all.
I believe I believe it was the 30th anniversary edition, or maybe it was the 20th anniversary. The volume was super low on the CD. And it
Really?
bought an extra CD with tons of extras that was worth nothing.
Oh yeah, but didn't they replace that? Didn't they say if you got that CD, you can replace it? Because I think I have that one you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I never heard to replace it. I wish I could have.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's that one. Uh, Pommy Ray says, "Hope you feel better."
Thanks. This has been flaring up for like 45 minutes.
What'd you eat?
What did I eat today? I ate chicken.
From where?
Chicken, mashed potato, and peas.
Did you get it from somewhere? Did you make it yourself?
Oh, I made it myself.
That could be the problem. Are you a
Yeah,
good? Are you a good cook?
yeah, I'm a pretty good cook, but I guess not today.
Or it could have been something wrong with the chicken. Walmart just had a thing, and I bought it a couple of weeks ago. It was the chopped meat, and that was recalled a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I probably got some chicken that should be recalled.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I'm feeling better now, but before we started the show, I did number two,
Yeah.
and then I had to go do number two again.
Wow.
And now when we started the show, it's like I got to go do number two again, and this time it kind of came out really easy.
Oh,
So I think hopefully I'm done. I still feel a little bit in the stomach, but fuck that. Look at this, Wayne.
what do you got? Oh, I can barely see it.
I
It's
know.
you
I'll get it
vanished.
to work.
There you go.
Right?
That's a new T-shirt. They made a whole new. You're gone.
Yeah, it's this T-shirt is
Disappeared. Yeah.
evil. It's
Yep.
evil, and it's somebody holding a baby up in a graveyard.
Yeah.
and there's the moon, you know?
Yeah.
I was born on the cemetery under the sign of the moon,
Yeah.
raised from the dead, right from the dead, raised from the grave from the dead. I
Yeah.
saw this and I was like, I must own that.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool show. That's the best one out of all the new ones, though. I didn't like the other ones.
Yeah, no, I didn't care for them either, but
Yeah.
and we will be talking about Twist Sister, but let's wait for Tony. What do you say?
Yeah, they wait for Tony. It's
Let's talk to the people as we wait for Tony.
All right. Somebody's asking already what we think of Still Hungry. All right, what do you think of Still Hungry? We talked about this a long time.
That was fucking blasphemy. And I was looking forward to that because I thought it was going to be better.
So was I.
It sucked. There's Tony. All right, we can start talking.
Yeah, I wish the production on it, because they always talked about Stay Hungry being, they hated the production on it, and I don't see why. I love the sound of that album.
So
and they said
a good production. That's a good production, Wayne.
On Stay Hungry, yeah.
I
like it.
You know production, I don't.
I do. It doesn't matter. No, but to me it sounds good.
I'm not saying that sarcastically. Tony,
I know.
what's up?
I know, because you can't.
What's
you can't
up,
hear
guys?
production.
All right, Tony, you probably have the same ears as everybody else, including Wayne, but not me. What do you feel about Stay Hungry's production?
You know, I ripped a bunch of CDs not long ago and put them on a flash drive to play in the car. And then when you put it up against some of the other stuff that's out, the production's kind of muddy on it. It's kind of low. It's kind of lo-fi. It's not as brilliant as some other albums. Not like brilliant as in smart or whatever. But I mean, it's just not as bright sounding as it's kind of just like a lo-fi sounding record. Even the remastered CD, and that's what I ripped, was the remastered one that came out. I didn't really notice that much difference in it, except maybe they boosted the volume a little bit.
Yeah, that's all they did.
But
I don't think it sounds bad. And the band always bitched and complained about how that album sounds, and it sounds like everything else sounds in 1987, right?
This was the 25th anniversary remaster, and I thought that maybe I think JJ French and Mark Mendoza may have went in and done something, because they're the ones that seem to do that stuff now, all the stuff that comes out.
Yeah.
But I mean, that being said, I mean, I've got albums that have worse production or sound that I love. I mean, we like underground metal from the 80s, I mean, Merciful Fate and all that stuff, and Celtic Frost. I mean, some of that early stuff, just didn't have great production on it. But
and you can even talk about like the Misfits and the Ramones and all that. Those productions are terrible.
The Misfits,
but the songs are good.
Ramones have good production on their stuff. It sounds great, actually.
Yeah.
But the underground stuff,
I was just talking to a friend at a show, explaining that, I grew up with these people that we grew up discovering, we discovered Manowar, Raven, all this early 80s stuff. And then by the time like around 84 rolled in, they were going more Bon Jovi, where I was going more Merciful Fate.
Yeah.
And I noticed the people my age could not accept bad production. Now, I'm going to give you an example of an album that's got bad production, but the bad production, I think, enhances the sound, the vibe, is the first Trouble album. Psalm 9?
It's just self-titled Trouble. They renamed it Psalm 9 after the self-titled Trouble came out in 1990, but it's just Trouble. But I know what you mean. Yeah, and it does add to the vibe. It sure does.
It's kind of like, I like poverty production.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really bother me at all. Hotter Than Hell, Kiss.
Yeah, but it's a good album. The songs make that.
I've said this before, and this is a very nerdy thing to say, but it's the truth. If you take the song She from Dress to Kill and you trade it with Coming Home on Hotter Than Hell, put She on Hotter Than Hell and Coming Home on Dress to Kill, it would have been better for both those songs.
I think so.
The poverty production would have enhanced it, She, and the kind of glittery, shiny production of Dress to Kill with Coming Home would have benefited that.
Yeah, definitely. But we were talking about Still Hungry. And because the band always hated the way Stay Hungry sounded, they redid the album and called it Stay Hungry. And I think that the way that was produced and mixed and everything sounded worse than Stay Hungry.
Yeah, and then they recorded a bunch of other songs too that they had. They claimed it was the lost tracks from the original sessions.
Yeah,
had a bunch of extra tracks on it.
Yeah, some cool extra tracks on there. And then they played the song slower, and it was just not good. Not good at all.
You get a bunch of extra tracks on this reissue, the 25th anniversary as well.
Yeah.
There's a copy that I got from what label was this? Spitfire sent it an autographed CD. It's completely autographed by the band. That was kind of nice of them. You know, one thing I was going to bring up about this reissue when it came out. So I can't remember the story now, but there was some sort of fault in manufacturing.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that before you came on.
And you could send this, you could like send a copy or scan a copy of your receipt or whatever and send it. And I get this, I'm a pack rat and I save everything. I get this like apology letter from JJ French basically in the mail on Twisted Sister header here, and they sent a copy of the Stay Hungry concert VHS on DVD.
Wow.
Because when it came out, because you had that concert they filmed for Stay Hungry. And there's two versions of this show. They must have filmed two shows because this one is just released. The one that was shown on MTV was censored. And they would have had to do two shows because it's a lot of stuff they had to cut out. A lot of, cursing and stuff had to be cut out. And then when they released it on home video, it's the entire show uncut, uncensored. So when they released it years later as a video on a DVD, it's got like the videos for this, come out and play, all that stuff on one DVD comp. They used the censored version of the Stay Hungry concert. So the only way you can get it on DVD is that version that JJ French sent out. Gotta fix my ring light.
I got that. Because I had the same thing. I did send it back. Ralph actually never heard of that. So he still got the shitty.
I do have.
You have the better one?
Like I have a DVD burn of the uncensored where it actually has also interviews of Dee Snider backstage.
Mm-hmm. No, but I mean the Stay Hungry CD. You still have the shitty one that sounds like.
I still have the shitty one that you're showing, Tony, the 25, because I didn't know. I remember when I bought it, I was like, "This sucks."
Yeah,
but
and I
you can return it. I didn't get the memo.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I kind of got screwed on that. I still have it, but whatever. I have it on vinyl. I only play a CD anyway. So you were on Sea of Tranquility now, huh?
I was on they do a thing now. Another guy, Jamie, does a show on there where you call the Review Crew, where they have different people come in and review two albums. So I went and done that. I was there doing that a while ago. It's not a weekly thing or anything. It's just was tonight. Nothing weekly. I'll throw your name in the ring if you want to go on and do it sometime. He just wants different people to do it. Get to review, pick two albums and review it. Yeah,
we should all go in there as a team
every day.
I should go in there as a team. You know what? I got the same thing you got, but I didn't get the DVD. I just got the CD. I wasn't.
Well, they sent the CD. They sent the replacement CD.
The CD. I mean the DVD. I didn't get that, but I got the note. I did get the JJ French.
Man, I wish I would have known about this.
Yeah.
I remember. I think I bought it at Best Buy, if I remember right.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ralph. If I would have known you then, I would have told you.
If I can copy this DVD, I'll send you a copy. Well, you got it. You have it, so you're good. Yeah, you're good.
I think that DVD was like a limited thing, though. That's probably why I didn't get it. Who knows? God damn it! Now I'm angry. I'm angry now.
Why are you angry?
Because I wanted the DVD. I like extras. I like when I get extras. So upset now.
You mean to send you a copy of the DVD? I'm going to burn you a copy and send it to you.
If you
it's on YouTube, uncensored, uncut.
I'll probably never watch it.
Right, real quick before we get into Twist Sister, I want to talk about I Saw Raven this past Saturday.
Yes.
With Vicious Rumors and So yeah, when I walked in, John came up to me. Hey, you owe me money. He was like, I was like, hey, what's up, John? Got talking to him, had him sign my record, and then he had to go backstage and do some things, and hanging out with a bunch of friends. And Vicious Rumors kicked ass. Raven kicked ass. Right when Raven ended, maybe 2 minutes after they ended, my brother calls, you gotta go home. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh fuck. So I had to leave. I couldn't spend time with John. When I came back, I wrote John and I apologized. But he said, yeah, man, just let him relax a little bit. He's gonna come on our show.
Cool. That's
You know?
awesome. Did you
So
see the other day, as soon as the tour was over, Larry, the drummer from Larry Howell from Vicious Rumors, left the band as soon as the tour was over.
really?
And, yeah, he's been the longtime drummer for Vicious Rumors, and he left. And I think it was some turmoil or something. But Jeff Thorpe came out and made a kind of a statement about everything's cool and he wishes him well and all. There, did you see the band Wicked that opened?
Yes, they were like a glammy band.
Glammy band. We would call them Glamour War because they kind of like they're all like muscular and stuff. Cool guys. I have a record by them that I bought from them probably like 6, 7 years ago. They've been around for a little while, but their drummer Gunner is going to be the new. Well, he's going to be the touring drummer for Vicious Rumors for their
Oh,
European.
cool.
Yeah, he's a good solid drummer. Yeah.
Right on. Oh yeah, it was a good show. Nice turnout. Can't complain. And I know you just saw him a couple days before. Manny tonight is seeing Armored Saint in Queensryche.
Right. Right.
I'm going to see him Saturday.
So, um, John Bush lost his voice for a couple of shows recently.
So I'm not going to see him with John Bush.
He may be back by then. Who knows?
Who's the guy
Um,
that's filling in?
Jason McMaster. He's filled in before. Jason's become the fill-in guy when people lose their voice. He did it for Accept as well. He filled in for Mark and Accept a couple years ago.
Well, who's he?
Um,
Where's he from?
Dangerous Toys
And
in
watch.
Watchtower.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's amazing he's in Dangerous Toys and he's in Watchtower, and he's got a metal band called Igniter too. That's pretty cool. He's a good guy, cool singer. Yeah, I just saw Queensryche at the M3 Fest, and we actually left. We had planned to get out of there a little early. They were the headliner that night, so I went to the M3 Rock Fest in Maryland, in Columbia, Maryland, which is like an '80s festival. And I actually had several people come up to me and say, "Are you Tony Dio? We watch you every Thursday." So
Oh, really?
so a lot of people know you, and it's cool. So yeah, thanks to everybody that came up and spoke.
Yeah. Killer.
And but yeah, it was a good show. But man, it was the weather was rough.
It was
It
hot.
it was cold. It was like 52 degrees Saturday, and it was raining all day. Now we had great seats, like close to the front, so we were covered and everything. It's just getting from the parking lot in without getting drenched. But it was a good show all day. Like I said, Queensryche headlined that night. We wanted to get out a little early and get back because there's an after party at one of the hotels. And so I had heard that Queensryche, I knew they were doing this legacy tour where they do the EP and they do the whole Warning album. Well, I'm thinking, okay, I read where they said, oh, the M3, we're going to do our festival set. So it'd be a best of, Mind Crime and all the hit stuff. They come out. They start out with Queen of the Reich, and then they go into Knight Rider, and it's like, okay, well, so they played the whole EP, and then they go into Warning, but we decided, okay, we got to cut out. But I wish I could just stayed, but it sounded good. I heard two more songs on the way out to the parking lot, so loud. But yeah, they sounded great, and to hear those songs played live, that's really cool. Armored Saint had a night off that day, due to them not being on M3, and so they had a night off. They booked a show in Pennsylvania that night, and they had to cancel it because John lost his voice. And I spotted Phil and Gonzo at M3. I could see him on the side of the stage. Gonzo was taking photos and stuff down in the photo pit. And on our way out that night, I saw Joey Vera at front of house. But yeah, we had a good time at the show. Otherwise, I mean, it was some cool bands. Just I mean, I can't say anybody that wasn't good. I got to see Aldo Nova finally after all these years, and he kicked ass. He had Jack Frost on guitar, and I saw, one of the surprise acts of the weekend was Quiet Riot. It would have been one of those things. Oh, it's just a tribute. If it had been like nice weather, I probably would have been taking a break and walking around. But we stayed, we watched them, and I'm glad I did because they put on a really good show. And when they did Thunderbird, Rudy came out and talked, and they did a video montage of Kevin and Frankie and Randy and everything during during that song. Then they did Blackout in the Red Room because Jizzy Pearl is the lead singer, which I thought was cool. It's a great song. And then they did a little tribute to, the fact that Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative's on drums and Rudy's on bass again. They played Crazy Train and kind of went into Black Number One, like in a little.
That's cool.
You get to hear Rudy Sarzo playing the bass line to Black Number One, and he's killing and he's licking his fingers and doing all his Rudy isms, which was really cool. But yeah, like I said, they were really good. Lynch Mob, saw Lynch Mob. Man, Lynch Mob opened with Lightning Strikes off of Under Lock and Key.
Nice.
And he's got that young guy from India singing. So that dude was hitting like a high note at the end, the note that Don probably hasn't hit since the day he recorded that song in the studio. Yeah. But who else was there that day? Doro had a good show that day. Chris Caffrey on guitar with her. Stephen Piercy's his tribute to Rat basically, and they played the whole Out of the Cellar album. Man, he had a good band. He had Matt Thorne, who's the original Rat bass player, but he was well known for being in Rough Cut as the bassist. He had Blas Elias from Slaughter on drums, and he had the guitar player. Forget his name. Has been with him forever. Guy with a mohawk, and he had Johnny Monaco on guitar, he's been in several bands like Enough's Enough and LA Guns. And I think he's like a GIT guy, but he is a killer guitar player, and he was nailing those DeMartini solos. So yeah, they had a good set. And Sunday we saw Cold Sweat. So we got to see Roy play with Cold Sweat. They were fantastic, spot on. If you get a chance, look them up on YouTube. The Cold Sweat set from M3. They were the only band that had all original members.
Really?
They had all 5 original members in the band, and we saw Pretty Boy Floyd, Faster Pussycat. They were all good bands. Y&T 50th anniversary tour. They came out of the gate, man, just storming with they opened fire into Don't Stop Running into Mean Streak. 3 just bang, bang, bang in a row. They were just fantastic as well. Dave Medicaid looks great. And like I said, he's the only original guy. He's the only one still standing, but those guys with him been with him for a while. And saw Striper. Striper did a good set. They did a tribute to CJ from Firehouse. Of course, the bass player for Striper was in Firehouse at one point, Perry. And they said they did All She Wrote by the Firehouse song. Striper played it. Night Ranger.
Was Tim Gaines playing with Aldo Nova?
No, he's been out for a while. They had another guy. I've noticed over the last year when they do a live set that I was talking to the drummer for Aldo Nova Friday night at this pre-party. Said he'd been with Aldo for years. He was in this band in Canada called Saints and Sinners that Rick, what's his name? Rick, their singer for Sword. What's his last name? I can't remember. But I'm talking about Sword. The band Sword.
I love Sword.
Yeah. So Rick was in a band called Saints and Sinners after Sword, and this drummer Ange, he was the drummer. I was like, wow, that's cool, man. But yeah, we saw Night Ranger. They were great as always, and we weren't going to stay for Bret Michaels. I was just like, I don't know if I want to stay for Bret Michaels. Is going to get out, but it's like it was an early show. It was going to be over by 10, and Dee Snider was going to be performing with Bret. I said, well, so his band will probably learn I Want to Rock, and we're not going to take it, and that's what they did. But I must say, they put on a great show. It was a great way to end the show. It's just a big party. And I'm not a Poison hater. I like the first Poison record. They played the title track, and I thought it kicked ass. He had a good backing band, and but D came out, did his songs. They did Highway to Hell. They just a big party is what it was. A bunch of people, guys from Night Ranger on stage with them, and good way to end the show. But
somebody says Striper caught flack for that tribute. Was it with the song band?
Striper did it at a show before M3,
Hmm.
and people were complaining that Oz Fox didn't play the solo right. I was like, he's trying to do a tribute to somebody. And I was talking to Perry about it the night before, and he said they were going to do it at the show. And he's like, yeah, you know, he did the best he could on it. We're trying to pay tribute to a friend, not, you know, don't have to be spot on, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the weather was better on Sunday too. The better we had, it stopped raining and the temperatures did rise up. Now, I wanted to mention Last in Line play. Talk about controversy. So Last in Line plays on Saturday. Great set, good mix of Dio and their original stuff. The lead singer Andrew comes out, and like I said, it was freezing cold, and they were later in the evening. They were like right before Stephen Pearcy, so they were playing, you know, up around close to 8 o'clock or whatever. People were sitting down. People are cold. You've got a demographic here of people in their 50s. They're cold, they're tired, they're sitting down, they're just trying to enjoy the show and make it till the end. He comes out, lights up everybody about, everybody's sitting down. What the fuck's wrong with you people? Why happened to the rock crowd and the rock scene in Baltimore? Get up. You paid to be here. I'm being paid to be here. You're paid to be here to watch me. Get up and all this stuff. You could take it. I mean, he's trying to pump the crowd up. He's trying to get people up, but most people took it on a negative side. And it was like the next day on the M3 pages on Facebook, it was like, fuck Andrew and fuck Last in Line. They're Dio rip-off fan. I mean, so Roy, our friend Roy from Cold Sweat, comes out the next day. And the first thing after they played their opening tracks, the first thing Roy says is, I'm going to go ahead and be controversial here because I am the mouth of the South. He goes, if you want to sit in your seat, if you want to stand up, you know, it doesn't matter. He's like, whatever you want to do, you pay for that seat, you make that decision. We're going to do our thing up here. You know, just give us a nod or a thumbs up, a fist in the air, some, you know, some applause or something. Just let us know you enjoy what we're doing up here. So that was kind of a slap back at Andrew.
That was cool.
You know, but yeah, so that was kind of the thing. I mean, people were bitching the next day too about Queensryche's not playing Silent Lucidity. So there you go. You know.
Well,
but
Eric,
it was
I just don't get people. People are complaining about Striper with the Firehouse thing, but yet not one complaint of Michael Sweet drinking the blood of a baby on stage for Satan. Not one complaint.
I know it's sad, isn't it?
What's the world coming to?
I know.
Eric Ferratinos was the other guitar player in the Steve Pearcy band.
Yeah, he's been with him a long time. He really has.
It's coming here. I was thinking of going.
It was good, man. They played the whole Out of the Cellar record, and then they came back and did the 2 hits off the second record, You're in Love and You're in Love and Lay It Down.
Yeah, man.
He may even play more on a headlining show. He had a limited time slot there.
I really wanted to go see the Queensryche and Armored Saint thing because I never saw Armored Saint, and I really want to go see them. I saw Queensryche way back in the day with Jeff Tate, but I wanted to see this Queensryche. But nobody would go with me. But then I found out my keyboard player ended up going to the show. I didn't know he was going, so I could have went with him, but I missed the whole thing. It was only $30 too. I could have got cheap tickets.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Too late now.
You know, I'm going to see Judas Priest on Tuesday. And have you seen where they're offering this backstage tour package, VIP package?
No.
So I've been seeing people's photos on Facebook. I'm going to go back and do this. And it really doesn't promise you're going to get to meet the entire band. So I don't think Rob's doing it, but I've seen pictures of people with Richie and of course, sometimes Ian Hill comes out and Scott Travis, of course. And I did see where one guy got to put on like one of Rob's, robes or whatever, like his stage gear. And I was like, it just came to me, that whole lyric about put on my jacket before you get too old. Let's rock it.
Yeah. That should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
New Priest is really good. I heard today the new Sebastian Bach that comes out on tomorrow, I think.
The whole album you've heard?
I heard the whole thing. I have it.
Cool. Cool.
It's really good. I'm gonna listen to it a few more times. I think it is a bit front loaded. It's very strong and then it kind of tapers off, but that's on one listen. Let me get used to it a little more. I felt like the last 3-4 songs wasn't as strong as the rest, but it was pretty damn good up to the last part of it. So
Like a 10-track album.
it's 11 tracks, and I'm gonna listen to it a couple more times and put up a review here on this channel this weekend.
Was discussing with someone earlier about time lengths on albums and how that since the vinyl craze is back again, the bands are starting to making their records like under 50 minutes again because they don't want to make a double album, so they try to get it all on one album like the old days. And I like that. I don't like too many songs.
I don't care for any songs. I don't care for anything over 40 minutes. To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
The records I released, they're under 40 minutes.
That's like, in the CD age, you could originally 74 minutes. A band started putting more songs, and then stuff that was coming out on vinyl at that period, they tried to get it all on one record, and it's like the last couple of songs are like crammed in there in the grooves, and they just sound like crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much. It's like Metallica. They keep releasing like double albums, and I don't want to hear like 3 hours worth of music. It's insane.
Yep.
Unless it's like a live show, then I'll listen to that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
All the Severed Angel albums are like 40-45 minutes. Although we have a new album that we're working on, and it might be a little longer. But it's a concept album, so I think it needs to be a little longer.
The concept should be shorter album. That should be the concept.
I don't know. We're still figuring out. It's an
8-song album.
I just finished an 18-minute song. It's rough, very rough.
Anyway, I'll talk about how I discovered Stay Hungry. I was really into You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. I didn't know Under the Blade at the time. I discovered You Can't Stop Rock and Roll from a little tiny commercial on MTV. I was like, who the hell's that?
Same here, man. Yep.
Then I saw the video. And then I ran out and bought the record. And I thought that record, I still think it's their best album. I think it's phenomenal. So by the time Stay Hungry came, man, I was so happy they blew up. Now, I'm not a fan of We're Not Gonna Take It. I never really liked the song, but I liked that it exploded them. So I can appreciate that song because it made them famous. And at the time when that album was new, man, MTV already was showing that concert. That was before I Wanna Rock. It was crazy, man. The amount of push. And what I understand is that Atlantic Records didn't push You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, and it sold a shitload.
Have you seen that interview with JJ talking about that?
I'm not sure. I think I saw it on the We're Twisted Fucking Sister documentary, how it ended. And, it sold so much that the president of Atlantic said, I'm going to make you the biggest band in the world for the next album. And he promoted the fuck out of him. And, it suffered overexposure. And that's what killed them. The overexposure and then following up the overexposure with Leader of the Pack was not a good idea.
That's what somebody mentioned here, that they followed up Stay Hungry with the next album so fast. They didn't really give Stay Hungry enough time to marinate with people. I guess
it was a good year or more than a year between the two. But Leader of the Pack, Twisted Sister fans know they recorded that on their early demos, the Rough Cut album, Rough Cuts album, not Rough Cut the band, but Rough Cuts album that came out before Under the Blade has a version of Leader of the Pack on it because they were doing it live in concert when they were our biggest draw club band in New York for years before they even got a record deal. So they were playing that song, but
and when they were playing Leader of the Pack in the club days, it got a really good response.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people loved it back then. So they thought, oh, no brainer, let's release it. They loved it back in the club. The world's going to love it now.
How many years ago was that? Compared to
5, 6 years.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years. I pretty much discovered them the same way as you, Ralph. I saw the commercial because we got MTV that summer. I think it was summer of '83, and that commercial came a couple times where it just showed the guy where he's got the headphones like his ears are burning, and the Twisted Sister and the denim and leather, saying you can't stop rock and roll. Didn't know about the costumes. Okay, so all summer long I watched MTV and Nickelodeon. I'm back and forth between those two channels, and Nickelodeon had a TV show at the time, a show called Live Wire.
Live Wire, yeah.
And Twisted Sister were on there, and it was during when You Can't Stop Rock and Roll had come out, and so they were in those costumes, the early costumes, and they played The Kids Are Back, and I think they played I want to say they played Destroyer, maybe. I can't remember what it was. I have that on video somewhere around here, but it was really cool to get to see them. So
I think it's I Am I'm Me they played.
That's it. It was I Am I'm Me. You're right. They so I went out and found the tape. I went out and found You Can't Stop Rock and Roll on tape, and loved it. Thought it was great. And not long after that, probably 6 months or so, maybe, I found Under the Blade on cassette. It was in the import bin. Musicland had an import bin, and I said, oh, okay, I'll check this out. That's ended up being my all-time favorite Twisted Sister record. I mean, that one has Lane production on it. That one was supposedly produced by Pete Way, but the story is he just laid around and got fucked up and just stuck the money. I think he may have. Well, I mean, I don't think he engineered it to start with, but he was Pete Way in the studio. So, and Twisted Sister are known not to be partiers, so I'm sure that was kind of a clash as well. So,
did you get the Under the Blade? I mean, because there's two versions of Under the Blade.
Yeah.
The Atlantic Records and then the Secret Records.
Secret one's the one I got.
They re-released it with a DVD.
Yes, I did.
With the making of Under the Blade, where they did it in a farm.
Yeah, and it's got the
haze around them.
And it's got the Reading Fest show on it.
Yeah. Oh, what a great show that is.
Yeah. I love that album. It's just so good. I'm not crazy about the remake. It wasn't a remake. It was like just they spruced it up. But I like the original mix. And they just did a 40th anniversary of that not long ago version of it, like a new version on vinyl. I like to pick that up sometime. They were kind of pricey though. It was a double album, and it was around like
it's like $70. It was ridiculous.
$60-$70. Yeah. It was really expensive.
But that original version, man, I didn't know that existed until like maybe 5-6 years ago. And when I finally got to hear it, I'm like, oh my God, it's so much better than that Spitfire version. Because,
well, the original album came out on Atlantic reissued it, but they didn't put it out on CD that I know of. And Spitfire did this. Spitfire did a shitty job on those reissues. The covers are all like dark, and
I have.
They have bonus tracks on them, which is cool because You Can't Stop Rock and Roll's got several tracks that were only released on it as a B-side to a single. But the manufacturing was shit. Even Dee Snider talked about it when they were released, about them being just crummy looking, but they I think I said the Spitfire version. I don't think I've ever. I bought it on CD. I probably listened to it once. Then I ended up getting that Eagle Rock. Not Eagle. I guess it's Eagle Rock redid it with the DVD and stuff, and that's done so much better. And you get the original artwork and everything else with it as well.
Yeah.
So when I want the song We're Not Gonna Take It, when that came out, that video, I remember it premiering, and I was like, this is really cool. So of course I'm sick of hearing the song, but that video is so cool. I mean, it's just the ultimate. Where you got Mark Metcalf in it, and it's just so neat the way they did that, and it just took off because there were a lot of bands that put concept videos out to have intros that got their intros chopped off by MTV, and they would just show the song. So, and you never knew that there was an intro to it until maybe they put a home video out and you saw the full video. But MTV let it go because it was just a cool concept. This kid, wanting to rock out, and he turns into Dee Snider and just destroys the whole house, and his dad. I just love when he goes in and he puts his hands on like the little brothers and they turn into the other members of Twisted.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson ripped off that video years later with Macaulay Culkin.
Yep, with a what
John
was it, black or
Denver.
white, the one that had Slash in it.
That was a total ripoff of "We're Not Gonna Take It." All right, I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I mean, but yeah, I mean, the record had a lot of good stuff on it, you know, and it was. I don't, you know, I really liked it at the time, and I still like it, but I don't think it is rocking or is as heavy as You Can't Stop Rock and Roll and Under the
Oh
Blade.
no, they're more commercial on this album.
More commercial, but I mean, you got stuff like, I mean, the Beast and SMF, both just really super heavy songs, you know.
Yeah.
And then of course, Burning Hell.
That's my favorite Twisted Sister song.
Horror is just, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I retract that statement, because it has got some heavy stuff on it. It's just you've got a couple of the bubblegum songs that are on here that kind of make it seem not as a heavy album, but it's Raining Blood compared to the next album. You know?
Yeah. We did a couple years ago, we had Ralph on our show, and we did the first 3 Twisted Sister albums, and we didn't go any further than that because there's no need to. You know, I kind of like Love Is for Suckers, but that's really not a Twisted Sister album. It's a D. Snider.
It's a D. Snider solo album. I actually have the demos from that
I got
CD.
That too. Yep.
And it's got Red Beach. Red Beach is a guitar player on pretty much all of it. Yeah. But I don't know what the full story was of why they had to release that as a Twisted Sister. Maybe it was a contractual obligation or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Or they didn't think that Dee was ready to go out as a solo artist. You know, we were talking about how they just burn out so fast. Dee was everywhere. He was on every magazine cover. Everything you picked up, there's Dee Snider. Yep. And then the PMRC thing, you know, he went in to defend, you know, censorship of his albums of music and stuff, and it basically kind of made him look like a goody two shoes in a way, I guess, to some people. It didn't to me. I thought I respected what he did.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just looked at it like, oh, screw Dee Snider, you know. But like I said, he was just so out there. When that next album came out, he filed his teeth down, and he was just, you know. And they changed their image on the next record too, with the white costumes, and they were real glammy looking and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a few good songs on that album as well. But we were talking about Ralph. I was saying that Stay Hungry is just. I was saying it comes off not being as heavy as the 2 previous, but I mean, there's some heavy stuff on here. You just got a couple bubblegum tracks that weigh it down. It makes it. I mean, SMF, The Beast, you know, even Don't Let Me Down. I mean, Don't Let Me Down would fit perfect on You Can't Stop Rock and Roll.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Burning Hell, Haratira, you know, I mean, Captain Howdy, Street Justice, just great. One of my favorite Twisted Sister songs. I got a couple of singles here. There's The Price. I love The Price. I think it's a great, just power. It's not really a power ballad. It's just a slower number.
Yep.
There's a couple of singles. We're Not Gonna Take It, and I Want to Rock. I mean, I guess they couldn't do much for finding photos to use singles. They just like keep putting Dee Snider in the bone.
You know, I mean, I know he's like the singer of the band, but that sucks. Like, you don't put the rest of the band on there, you know.
That's a We're Not Gonna Take It 12-inch single from Europe, and a I Want to Rock 12-inch single.
Yeah, that one I have autographed. All right,
what did you guys think of the makeup back then with Dee Snider looking like this? Because, you know, on the back of the albums, they're always got the leather the denim jackets and everything. So they look like, you know, tough guys, but then they put the makeup on. So what did you think about that from back in the day?
You know, I guess they did that for the shock factor of it when they were a newer band, an unsigned band. But honestly, in some ways, I feel like they could have just done the denim and leather look and went with it and had a little more street cred.
Yeah.
But it would have, at the time period that it came out, having the costumes and the makeup really worked, because the glam rock thing had taken off so much. You know, it was so big at the time, and they didn't. they weren't pretty boys.
Right,
They look like men with makeup on. They kind of look kind of tranny in a way, and it's just I don't know. I always thought they looked so cool in the denim and leather though.
Yeah.
It's they would have probably, I don't know. The costumes definitely helped because it was the shock factor. It gave them an image, so they didn't look just like street guys. If Twisted Sister hadn't have gotten signed until 1986, they could have came out with the denim and leather and it would have been fine. But that's when Motley Crue had Girls, 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 and they had that look, and people accepted that as the norm, because I always said whatever look Motley had is what all the other bands copied.
Yeah.
And when they went denim and leather, it's when you started seeing everybody else kind of going with that and the cowboy boots, and of course GNR kind of
right. Yeah. This came out in what, 94, right? I mean 84, sorry.
84.
Yes, I was only 4 years old.
40th anniversary is tomorrow, the 10th. Yep.
So I was only 4 years old. So but I knew the single I Want to Rock or whatever. So I remember the video, and We're Not Going to Take It. I remember that video too. But I was only 4 years old, so I don't really remember too much of it. So I saw it kind of like later on. And I think I got the cassette tape. My father used to tow cars, so he would get junk cars once in a while, and sometimes people would leave stuff in the car, and he would just go in and find what's in there. And I think there was a bunch of cassettes, and Twisted Sister's Stay Hungry was in there, so I had that for this cassette for the longest time. Never knew they had anything else. And so, I knew that album from front to back for years. And then I finally got Big Hits and Nasty Cuts on CD. And then I finally got to, there was a signing at a record shop that I used to go to, and they were there. And that's when I bought all the albums and everything. That's when I got all the Spitfire releases. So that was cool. I got Stay Hungry signed on the inside. So that's pretty cool to have that signed. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, all the original band too. So, yeah. So, but, Stay Hungry. Yeah. So Stay Hungry is like, it's an awesome album. The only song I don't like though is that Horror Terrier song. I really don't care for that song.
Love that song.
Yeah, I know you do. Captain Howdy. I mean, God, it's great.
I like the Captain Howdy part. I don't like that first half of the song.
You get the appearance in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, doing the Hell video shoot. That was pretty neat as well.
And I think you made like a video of that too, Ralph, didn't you? Like
Yeah.
I did.
That's right. I threw in that Pee-wee thing.
Yeah.
I saw this tour twice.
Actually, you know what? That's probably where I remember Twisted Sister from the most, is the Pee Wee Herman movie.
Man, I'll tell you a real funny story about the Pee Wee Herman movie. I went to go see it in the theater knowing Twisted Sister was in it. I didn't know what they did.
Yeah.
I heard they were going to. So I'm such a Twisted Sister fanatic. And I'm in line to see this movie. And there's a guy in front of me. And he goes, "What are you going to see?" I go, "Pee-wee's Big Adventure." He goes, "That movie sucks. I just saw it yesterday. Don't go." I was like, "Dude, I'm going." I went and saw a movie and fucking loved it.
Yeah, and that movie's all-time best movie ever.
I still love that fucking movie.
I watched it with my son like 2 years ago, and he was dying laughing at it, and I was dying laughing. I've seen that movie 100 times. It's never not funny.
Like 2 years ago, and I was like, "This is aged well."
Yeah. It's a hilarious movie. Yeah.
When you saw them twice on the tour, Ralph?
I saw them headline Sunrise Musical Theater with Y&T and Dokken. And then they came back open for Iron Maiden on the Power Slave tour. Yeah. And this is a funny story. I saw Iron Maiden the year before Peace of Mind with Quiet Riot.
This is funny because somebody actually asked about this. Go ahead.
All right, well, I saw Iron Maiden had an off night. They weren't good. And that was my first time seeing Maiden. I was a Maiden fanatic. And when I saw the Peace of Mind tour, I was like, dude, I thought Quiet Riot was better, And they're not a better band. I just thought they did a better performance. So then fast forward to next tour, Iron Maiden's coming with Twisted Sister. Twisted Sister, one of the greatest live bands ever. And I was telling all my friends, Twisted Sister is going to destroy Iron Maiden. This is going to be a bloodbath. Well, Twisted Sister sucked. Iron Maiden ruled because Dee Snider got in a fight with a guy in front row. And this went on for like 15 minutes, right? This arguing. They could have been playing songs. Then, after all the fighting, they did a song or two, and JJ French gets on the mic and goes, "We're not going to play The Price tonight." Now, The Price was like the new single at the time. Dude, when he said that, the whole arena booed.
Wow.
It was like they did not go over well. Then Iron Maiden came out and they destroyed. They were fucking awesome. They did not have an off night that night. They were amazing. Way better than Live After Death. Bruce sounds like shit. I got a audio bootleg of the show I saw. Bruce sounded great. By the time they were playing Long Beach Arena, it was late in the tour and his voice was fried. So I caught Bruce and Iron Maiden on fire. They were so fucking good. That was probably the best time I saw Iron Maiden was on the Power Slave tour, which is funny because to me, Twisted Sister, and then every time other time I saw Twisted Sister, they destroyed. When I went to that Hurricane Relief, and there were some awesome bands there. Raven, The Rods, TT Quick Reunion, and Anvil. Twisted Sister came out and destroyed.
It's so hard to beat Iron Maiden. It's very rare that you're going to find a band to do any better than them. Just between the stage show, the songs themselves, and just it's Iron Maiden.
Yeah, no, that night Twisted Sister could not compete, and I thought Twisted Sister was going to blow them away.
That's what somebody said in the chat here. That Dee Snider was saying how they blew Iron Maiden off the stage during that whole tour.
Not that show.
Well, I didn't get a chance to see that because I went to see that tour. It was February of '85. And the dumbass that was driving the car could not read the signs that said Coliseum this way. Coliseum, he got us lost. By the time we got there and parked and got in the place, basically Twisted Sister, I saw Twisted Sister basically go good night and walk off the stage. Hey, this is terrible. So I didn't get to see Twisted Sister actually perform a full set until I think it was about 2004, maybe. Really? They had gotten back together, and I went to see them at this show, and it was an outdoor show. And right before they were supposed to come on, a tornado warning hit, a really, really extreme thunderstorm, tornadoes, and they told everybody that they were going to had to evacuate the area, and everybody went and took cover at this nearby building. And then when it was all said and done, half the crowd left. There's about 100 people left. They squeegeed the stage off, unwrapped the plastic off the amps. Twisted Sister came out and just kicked ass for like the few of us that were there and put on a great show. I got to see him a couple other times through the years, like M3 and stuff. I did see Dee Snider in his SMFs once before. They reunited. He had Keith from Carnivore on guitar at that show. Wow. And he had what's his name from Overkill? Is it Derek?
Yeah, the rhythm guitar player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw them twice. I saw Dee Snider when Strangeland was new, and he had red hair. And then I saw Dee Snider 3 times solo. Never with Widowmaker, unfortunately, because I love it.
Yeah, I saw Widowmaker on Standby for Pain. But
yeah, I wish I could have seen that. But every time I saw Dee Snider, it was the Twisted Sister classics. And he's awesome. I think he's so energetic. And what I love about Dee Snider, it's not scripted. He goes with the vibe. He goes on stage and he doesn't know what he's going to say. I'm very influenced by Dee Snider because I do the same thing. When I go on stage, I have nothing scripted. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I got that from Dee Snider. Dee Snider's a fucking hero. Even though now I think he's a fucking idiot.
Now, yeah, I can't listen to him.
I can't stand him. I can't stand him. It's like I'll go see him live, but I can't stand watching interviews with this guy. This guy's an idiot. Yeah, he really is a fucking idiot. You know what it is to say Van Halen didn't do anything? Aerosmith and who else did he say? Aerosmith and somebody else was around before Van Halen. Van Halen didn't change anything. Are you a fucking idiot or what? I mean, he even said the song Tear It Loose invented speed metal. Have you not heard Accept, Exciter?
It must be on crack cocaine.
I mean,
Let's be one of these.
he's saying
I
now.
don't know. Man. It seems like some of these guys they get to be old. They like Ted Nugent and some of them they just start saying stuff that you're going, why did you say
Well,
that?
when they filed his teeth down, they probably filed a bit of his brain too.
Yeah, and that was really stupid. Fine.
Yeah.
Well, I live in North Carolina, and D is now a new North Carolina resident. He is
good. You can have him
home
because he was here for a long time. You can have him now.
Yeah.
But I never got to see them live at all.
You never saw him at all. Wow.
I never got to see him. Never got to see him.
It sucks because I did meet Dee Snider in maybe 2000.
Yeah.
Where AJ Perro. No, it was right after the 9/11 show in New York. He came down here and did a solo show with AJ Perro. And I had my Rough Cut EP, you know, and you know, a couple other things. And Dee Snider even was like, wow, you got the Rough Cut, you know, and then I went to go take a picture with him, and AJ walks away. I was like, AJ, get over here, man. What the fuck? I want a picture with you too, you know? It was cool meeting AJ. Dee Snider was super nice to me that day. And so was AJ, but I guess AJ's always nice.
When I met about that signing,
AJ's super cool. Yeah, I met him.
JJ the trick. I've heard that. I don't know.
Now I met JJ and I didn't know it was JJ. I was at Foundations Forum music conference in 1997. He was there with Seven Dust, which he was producing them and managing them, and they had performed. It was funny because we saw Seven Dust play. I think they opened for Anthrax or something at the Whiskey. And it turns out I ended up knowing the guitar player because he was from North Carolina, and there was a dude, you know, short-haired guy with like a sport coat on hanging out, and they said that was their manager. Nobody said that's JJ French or anything. Then I found out later that I saw a picture, I think it was in like Metal Edge or something with Seven Dust with their manager. I'm like, wait a minute, that's JJ? I mean, I had no clue. So I was writing for a zine, so I had to I wanted to set an interview up with Seven Dust. I really liked that first Seven Dust album. I thought they were a good band because they had guitar solos and stuff, and nobody knew was doing anything like that. They had a little bit of 80s throwback sound to their sound. And so I called the number at the bottom of the 8x10 photo that they gave me. It said Rebellion Management. Some kid answers the phone, and I was like, is this Rebellion Management? Kid goes, Dad, it's for you. Gets on, it was JJ. So I talked to him about setting up an interview with them because they were coming to Raleigh to do a show. So he set it all up and everything. And I asked him then, is there any chance that Twisted Sister's going to get back together? He goes, nah, it's not going to happen. You know, and of course, a few years later they did. And, you know, they're in talks now. They're saying that they're going to come back and play again.
Yep. Yeah, because they're getting offered a lot of money.
I'm hoping that maybe
they weren't supposed to
or something will help have them next year. Yeah, I'm sure the money's there for them. I mean, and they got to do it while everybody can still do it. I mean, they've already lost AJ, you know. I mean, that was a shock too, man. I mean, he wasn't even that old when he died, you know. He must have been like 17 or 18 years old when he first joined the band. He must have been really young, you know, but he died, you know, what was he on tour with Adrenaline Mob, and he died in the tour bus. But I met him at a benefit thing one time, and he was just as nice as he could be, just a cool guy.
Yeah. When I met them at that signing, they all seemed like they didn't really want to be there, so they were kind of like, you know, just kind of boring or whatever. But there was a lot of people there, so I didn't expect them to be friendly. I handed him one of my band's demos back at the time, and he was just like, "Okay, thanks, great, whatever," and he like threw it in the garbage. Yeah. I think. But then I saw Dee Snider at a Chinese buffet. I see this guy with this long, curly, like blonde hair, and I'm like, "Is that Dee Snider?" And sure enough, it was. And me and my friend went up to him, and we just said, you know, hi, and you know, thanks for all the music or whatever, and you know, let him go on his way. But you know, weird spots.
Did you take his tray to his table for him? Because he's not going to take it.
Well, I took his crab legs. He didn't like that.
Right over Wayne's head.
Yeah. What'd you say? I didn't even hear you. What?
I said, did you take his tray to the table for him? Because he's not going to take it.
No, no, I did not.
I'll be right back.
I saw Mark. They played M3 one year, and I was checking in at a hotel, and Mark was standing next to me during the check-in, and we just kind of went. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Hey," and that was it, you know. But I went to New York back in 2010 to see that Japanese.
Don't ever come back here again.
That Japanese band, X Japan.
Okay.
And we got there early. and me and my buddy, and so we ended up going to see Rock of Ages on Broadway, and that was Dee's first performance in that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And later we were walking down the street and we like ran into him and we talked to him on the street for a few minutes. He said that was his first performance, and he wanted to know how we thought it was. And now, we told him he sucked, and he shook his head no. But no, it was cool because he was the role of the guy that Alec Baldwin played in the film. So D got to sing I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore.
Did he shoot anybody?
No, not like Alec Baldwin, no. Yeah. When I was a kid, I was going to go back to the Stay Hungry era. They used to have these air guitar contests at the local skating rink. So me and some guys said, we're going to do Twisted Sister. And I was like, we're going to dress up like them. They're like, no, we can't do that. I said, y'all, we're going to dress up like them. So we made the homemade costumes, and you just can't there was no costume shop around, and it wasn't Halloween. So we made the costumes out of paper, the paper mache, not paper mache. What's that stuff you get in the rolls for parties?
Oh yeah, the party streamers or whatever.
Streamer.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Man, I fixed the dude up. The dude that was going to do D, my friend Glenn, he passed away a few years ago, man. We had him dressed like Glenn, and I took a toboggan and took a bunch of that paper yellow and put all over it and just like messed it all up. I mean, it looked like a pom-pom on his head. But man, we looked like Twisted Sister. Like it was like a cosplay version of Twisted Sister when we came out. Worst thing about it though was I was doing Eddie Ojeda, and we made our guitars. I had the bullseye guitar and all that, We're not going to do a song off of Stay Hungry. I said, let's do something nobody there is going to know. Let's do something off of Under the Blade. So we ended up doing Bad Boys of Rock and Roll. Show up that night. I've got it on cassette. They're like, we don't have a cassette player. All they had was a turntable. They didn't have a cassette player. So the guy, some guy rigs up some cassette player or whatever, and they could play the tape, but it only played out of one channel. So if you're not familiar with that album, it's done in stereo. You've got JJ in one speaker and Eddie in the other. So it's like you couldn't hear one of the solos or whatever when you were listening to it out there. But it was a disaster. But we had fun.
You got this on video so we could see this?
No, nobody filmed it. And and nobody took photos. We're at my mom's house, and nobody took a camera, took photos of us or anything. So it's not documented. Because I remember when the singer, when the guy that did D, when Glenn, he passed away a couple years ago, and I was at his funeral, and they had all the photo montage and stuff. And I told his wife, I said, I really wish I had a photo of us when we were dressed like Twisted Sister, because I heard about that. I've never seen photos. I said, there is none. There is no documented evidence of it.
I can't believe nobody took a picture. That's strange.
Oh,
crazy.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, my favorite song, hands down, off Stay Hungry, is The Beast. The Beast rules. I love the echoing and the vocals. Pray, pray, pray.
It's a heavy tune. Yeah. My favorite, besides the Price, is Burning Hell. I love Burning Hell. The whole See No Evil, Speak No Evil, where Eddie's singing and then Dee's doing, you're gonna burn in hell. Then they trade off, and he's singing the See No Evil. Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah, the song, the music is really low. I love that, and then it builds up. I love that.
It's such a heavy tune. Stryper should cover that on the next album.
Yeah, it is a religious song.
It is a religious song. It sure is. Did you ever hear Demu Borgir, Heavy Sam's version of it? That's the only thing they've ever done that I liked.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think they did that very good, but it's all right.
Who did that band? Captain Howdy. Somebody did Captain Howdy.
Well, there's that tribute album that came out, it's Twisted Forever. It's got all those new metal bands on it because it was at that time period.
And Motorhead did shoot them down on that.
Motorhead did shoot them down, and Nashville Pussy did. They did something in a rock, but I can't remember what it is they did on it.
Ride to Live, was it that one?
Can't remember. It's been so long. think I've got that CD. I can't remember it. If I do, it's in the other room. I know because the Strangeland soundtrack was all new metal bands.
Yeah.
And that's around the time when Dee Snider said metal is dead.
Yeah.
You know, move on. That's another stupid thing he said. But yeah, that what did you think of that movie?
I hated it and I still hate it, but I'll watch it. I own it and I watch it still. Here and there. It's one of those stupid movies I watch. I think it sucks, but I like watching it.
Well, there's a lot of movies I think
It's
that
not
suck
bad.
that I
It's
just keep
alright.
watching over and over because
That's one of them.
it sucks that I actually enjoy watching it because it sucks.
Yeah.
So many low budget horror films. That one,
I
it
know
was.
who. I just found out who covered the Captain Howdy and Morgana Le Fay. That
Okay.
might be why you recognize that.
Okay,
Right?
cool.
Yeah.
I like that band.
Yeah.
Thanks to my friend Jackson Rowdy.
Yeah, they're good.
I just thought the storyline for the Strangeland didn't make sense, and he gets sent away to prison. How long was he gone? Like 10 years, 15 years. He goes back, and his house is still there.
Yeah.
Like,
I saw
most people I know that go to prison lose their houses. You know?
I went with my old friend Heidi, this girl I've known since high school. She was a big fan of Dee Snider's book back in the day, childhood. It was like in the 80s. Dee Snider released a book.
A book about living as
Yeah.
a teenager or something. Yeah, I
She
remember
loved
that. Yeah.
it. So, I told her, hey, Dee Snider's got a movie coming out, and it was playing in the theater. Oh, let's go. And we both went. And we're both watching this movie and like, wow, this is really bad. But the part where the lightning hit the tree and he fell and he goes, what a rush. She turned to me, I swear, she turned to me and goes, you want to go? I was like, no, come on, let's watch the rest. Fuck it, we came this far.
I watched that movie at my friend's house. It was really late at night, and I really didn't want to watch it. But he was like, "Oh, it's good. We'll watch it or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's bad. I think I have it. My wife has it."
There's people, and you will see in the comments, there's people that love that fucking movie. I've seen a lot of people praise. I own it though. I bought the DVD because I bought it used.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the case. I open it. It brings a little comic book inside of the movie. I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it. And the DVD has commentary. So,
right. Yes.
Dee Snider. So I looked. It was all right. So now and then I'll pop in that movie.
The documentary was very well
worse.
done. The We Are Twisted Sister documentary.
Love it.
I mean, that goes into more detail than anything. I mean, they go back to before they even made it. I mean, there's the first hour is like before they even made it, before they even, really got going good, as far as being a nationally known band.
But it's funny, even with that, they stopped after Stay Hungry, I think, right?
Yeah, they didn't go into
They didn't go
when
after
they got
that.
famous. They only got
Yeah.
to the point where
Now, I would have liked to know more about the later years. That would
I
have
would
been cool.
love to hear about Come Out and Play.
Yeah.
Love Is for Suckers and Desperado. I would have loved to hear about all that,
The there's hours and hours of deleted scenes on there. All the full interviews are on there on the Blu-ray. It's just tons of stuff you can watch, to just hours of entertainment on there as a bonus features.
And unfortunately, the guy that did that Twist Sister movie died.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if they were going to do like a sequel to it, he's not alive anymore.
Wow, I didn't know
He's the
that.
perfect guy to do it,
Yeah.
because that guy was a Twist Sister fanatic, and he knew a lot about him. So they let him take care of. And I think that movie's on Netflix. I bought that as well, Blu-ray.
Yeah, I bought the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Here's something I didn't show. This is a bootleg album from the tour, from the Stay Hungry tour. It's from Rochester, New York, August 18th, 1984.
Is it an audience recording?
No, it's not. It actually sounds really good. It was a radio broadcast because they've actually censored out some of the cuss words in it and stuff. But sounds good. Pretty cool one. There's a ton of Twisted Sister like live bootlegs out there too. Tons of stuff. Hell, they've been putting them out themselves. They've been putting out all these live shows like from the early days, and
I love.
I got some box
My
set.
favorite Twisted Sister show is that North Side. Right before they left to England, that North Side show. I think it's called North Side.
Mhm.
They released it on DVD with the 9/11 benefit show.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That one. Yeah.
That one DVD. It's like, oh, we're leaving to England. That's it. This is our final show before we go and become rock stars and stuff. That's a kick, and it has a lot of that unreleased Twisted Sister 70s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies,
You know, I've always liked those live tracks that were on the Big Hits and Nasty Cuts because it was from the marquee, and they finally put that out a couple of years ago.
I bought it
on double vinyl. I bought it as well.
I bought the vinyl. I had to get the vinyl.
Yeah.
I love that. I love Hammersmith, the Stay Hungry. Even though Stay Hungry, I don't think was out yet, but it played a lot of Stay Hungry on that show. That show fucking, I love when Dee tells the audience, because he's in England. And he's like, all right, everybody, I want you to repeat after me. I promise. And you hear the crowd go, oh, I promise. You hear that? I will not touch the cameraman. I will not touch the cameraman. I will not hit the cameraman. I will not hit the cameraman. I will not fuck the cameraman. It's just hysterical. Dee Snider is fucking, he's a riot, man.
That was recorded where at Hammersmith, right? So yeah.
Hammersmith,
and they must have had the Venom concert like weeks after, because if you watch the Venom live at Hammersmith show, all the kids down in the front row wearing Twisted Sister t-shirts.
I wish I saw them. My uncle saw my Twisted Sister collection, and he was like, I followed them like back in the day, you know, because they were from here. So he went to all those shows, even like before they became famous and everything. So he got to see all of that stuff, you know. And that's crazy shit that they did back then.
Yeah, I have a friend that grew up in that area, and he saw them numerous times.
There's a lot of bands that say they were influenced by Skid Row, Hypo, and Carnival was very Overkill. These are all bands that were very influenced by Twisted Sister because they're all from that area where they were playing. You know, Twisted Sister was selling out the what's the name of that place where Kiss played with Eric Carr the first show? Palladium.
Yeah.
They sold out the Palladium before even getting signed. You know, they were huge. You know, I didn't know them till I didn't know Under the Blade. You know, I discovered on You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. And I'll never forget my friend got Under the Blade on cassette. And I remember when he played Tear It Loose, and the lyrics go, such a fucking crime. Like,
yeah.
The F word. I mean, it's rare you hear F words back then.
And also, you shoot him down. You know, he says, shoot him down with a fucking gun.
Fucking gun. Yeah. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's how it was back then. You didn't hear bad words in songs, you know? But
yeah,
they were.
Dee Snider also said Twisted Sister invented stage diving.
Oh God!
I thought Vince Neil did when he fell off the stage.
Yeah, but
James West, what's up, dude? Says he from North Carolina. Yep.
There was a lot. I mean, Twisted Sister was fucking awesome. It's just they killed their career without knowing it, you know.
Yeah, they burned out really fast. You talk about flash in the pan. What happened to them is what happens to a lot of pop artists. It's like they're there for a little bit, and you know, it's like maybe 18 months tops before they burn out completely.
Well, they were around a long time. It's just they got famous.
Yeah, the spotlight hit them, and it didn't stay on. You know, they just kind of went back in.
They couldn't handle the success, really. I don't think
the whole story about that I heard JJ French talking about. You know, basically 5 years after the success of Stay Hungry, he was in bankruptcy court. And basically, you know, and you hear about Dee talking about losing everything and having to ride a bike to work and all that. So, have you read Dee's book?
Yes, I have.
Where he talks about how much he hates Crocus because they ripped his wife off.
Yeah.
Wife.
He calls him Krampus.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I did read his book. Yeah.
Mark,
You
did you
know,
ever see? I saw where Mark Starachi came out and said that he was unaware of all that until that people started telling him about it, and that he was going to be playing at some show that D was on. He wanted to meet D and apologize to him because they were managed by the notorious manager Butch Stone. So who knows what went on behind those guys' backs that they had no clue about, back then.
I'll tell you something interesting. Dee Snider gets all the writing credit for all the songs.
Yep.
Songs and music by Dee Snider. When Ian and I interviewed Eddie Ojeda, he said that was bullshit. He said, dude, I wrote the beginning of The Price. That guitar solo is me. And I got to ask Ian, because, dude, I mentioned that and somebody sent me a message going, where can I hear that? So I went looking for it and I couldn't find it. I know Ian recorded it, so I got to ask him, dude, I don't think we ever released that Eddie Ojeda interview where he said he wrote songs for Twisted Sister. It wasn't all D.
Yeah, I've always wondered that.
Especially the early on stuff. I mean, because they didn't have Dee Snider before, so they did have some song. They had to have something.
Oh, yeah, they had stuff.
Yeah, but they sucked. Every song that Twisted Sister wrote before Dee Snider are hard.
Yeah. I mean, if Dee Snider if he went in and rearranged everything that they came up with and then tries to take the full writing credit, I mean, I don't think it's as full on as what you had posted today about the idiots that played for On Bark at the Moon didn't write anything. Ozzy wrote it all. Yeah, that is questionable. I'd love to know what those guys say out there. I'm sure JJ would tell you flat out the truth.
Well, Eddie Ojeda told us big time. He told us, and we got it on tape. And I get that would make blabbermouth news, I would think. And I thought we put it up, but we didn't. I guess we didn't.
You gotta look for that because now they're trying to get back together. So right now would be the best time to put that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make it not happen. Yeah. Odd question here for Ralph and I. Asked, did we ever see Danny Joe Brown? It says the Danny Joe Brown solo record that any good?
I love it. I own it on vinyl.
Did we ever see Danny Joe Brown solo? Yeah, I like the solo record. I never saw him solo as the Danny Joe Brown band, but I saw him in a later incarnation of Molly Hatchet where it was pretty much him and some guys, but they called it Molly Hatchet. I think Riff West was still playing bass at the time. I don't remember if Bruce Crump was a drummer. That was Bobby Ingram was on guitar. I know for sure. I can't really remember. They played some little redneck bar and I saw them. I just remembered that they had a wardrobe case and Danny Joe Brown, every time those long solos that come up, Danny Joe Brown would like walk behind the wardrobe case and turn a bottle of whiskey up and he'd walk back out.
I never see him solo. I've seen Molly Hatchet 4 times with him. And I do own the Danny Joe Brown band vinyl. And like a week ago, I bought a Danny Joe Brown t-shirt of the album.
Mm-hmm.
So
Rock Candy did that on CD and did a really good job with it.
I got to buy that because I have it on vinyl. I don't have it on CD. Did they add anything extra?
I don't think it's got any extra tracks on it, no.
I'll tell you, man, early MTV, they would show Edge of Sundown all the fucking time. When MTV didn't have many videos, you'd get that long ass, because Edge of Sundown is kind of like Freebird.
Yeah.
It's like a cool, but it's a little heavier, but then
it kind of reminds me of Green Grass and High Tides or something like that. Yeah.
Got that crazy solo at the end.
They used to show the Satisfied Band video as well, and you find out that the Molly Hatchet Warrior is a woman at the end when she takes the helmet off. Yeah, that was like their commercial period when all the Southern rock bands. We could do a whole episode about Southern rock bands, all trying to be what 38 Special was doing. They all tried to do commercial albums and bombed. But yeah, that was some good stuff. Do you remember the show Rock and Roll Tonight? And they had Molly Hatchet on it.
Molly Hatchet was on there.
Quiet Riot and Molly Hatchet were on the same episode together. It's like the first song, man, Danny Joe Brown is like by the end of the song, he's already drenched in sweat. I think that opened with Bloody Reunion, if I remember right.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good show. I remember
Yeah.
recording that on.
Yeah, I remember they had some. I remember Black and Blue, I think, was on it once, and
They were. Trying to think who else was on that show. I know some bands on there.
Yeah, I think Rough Cut was on it once, maybe.
Not sure.
Yeah, there was some oddball bands that were on, but yeah, it was cool. Rock and Roll Tonight. It used to come on like ABC TV, like late at night or something. You know, kind of like a extension of Midnight Special or something.
Yeah, that was ready. Midnight Special was gone, and Don Kirshner was gone. I mean, that thing. I think that went away around '82. You know, because I remember seeing Shandy, the Kiss video, on either Rock.
That was on Don Kirshner.
Or was it Don Kirshner? I knew it was one of the two. But yeah, but
I used to laugh at the Don. I mean, I don't remember seeing Don Kirshner when I was a child watching any. Now I do remember Midnight Special, because I remember seeing that episode with Ted Nugent and AC/DC and stuff. You know, but the Don Kirshner thing was just he was like so like bland.
yeah.
When he talked, you know, he was talking about Molly Hatchet is a band from Jacksonville, Florida. It's just like no emotion or whatever. Like he's just reading it off a cue card.
That guy, I gotta hang on to him. He gave Kansas a break and a half because he signed Kansas. First album flop.
Kirshner Records, yeah.
Second album flop. Third album flop. And he told the Kansas guys, look, I love you guys. Give me a hit, man. Then Left Overture exploded them.
Yep. Yeah, that's another good documentary, man. That Kansas documentary is just incredible.
Miracle Out of Nowhere.
Yeah. Did you ever get the we're getting off subject here. Did you ever get that Kansas like box set? It was like a best of, it was in like a long box and it has a DVD with all the videos.
No, I want that.
It's called like Sail On, I think is the name of it. So it's got a DVD with all the videos.
I need to get that.
And the videos have commentary on them where you can listen to them. And Richard's talking about the Fight Fire with Fire video. He says, yeah, they always made me wear hats. I got another dumb hat on in this video.
Somebody said you did put up that Eddie Ojeda interview. It was on one of the Rockin' Pod shows.
No, I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. Well, there you go. I mean, somebody requested me, hey, can you send me a link? I looked for it for somebody, and I couldn't find it, so I figured it wasn't up.
Hey, someone asked, did anyone see Vince Neil lip sync with the show Friday night? Was he lip syncing there? Wasn't it a club show?
He lip synced on with the show.
They did something at the Bowery or something, right? So
yeah, in New York, like during the verses, it doesn't look like he's lip syncing because it's so bad. The vocals are so bad. It's like, no, this can't be a tape. And then when it went into the chorus, that's where he sees he's lip syncing.
Trevi Metal, the show that I saw, I saw you said John Gavin and Bobby Ingram played on the Danny Joe Brown album. When I saw Danny Joe Brown, like I said, it was in the 90s or something, and it was Molly, but it was Molly Hatchet, and he was still in the band. But I think I don't remember who was all in the band. I just feel like Riff West was still with them because I remember he wore the headband and all that, you know.
I went to Danny Joe Brown's funeral.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, they had an open funeral for him. They announced it on the radio, and I went to pay my respects.
Yeah, great singer, man, great front man. That Jamming for Danny Joe Brown concert. Do you have that on DVD?
Oh, what?
It's called Jamming for Danny Joe Brown. It was like 1999. They did a big benefit concert for him, and all the original Molly Hatchet guys got back together, except Dwayne Rowland, and everybody's on stage, and Jimmy Farrar singing, and they got both bass players, Banner Thomas and Riff. It's kick ass, man. The first version I ever got was somebody filmed with a video camera, and it had Captain Beyond opened the show. It had that on it and everything. But then it was professionally filmed, so it got released. So it's a pro shot film, and they sound great. They're kicking ass. and they've got Jay Johnson from that was in Southern Rock All Stars, because he was in Rossington and stuff, and he's taken he takes Dwayne Roland's spot in the band, but they still got Steve Holland up there playing, and it's great. And then when they did Flirt with Disaster, they brought Danny out. And dude, he was in his he died young because he was in his 50s. He comes out, he looks like Charles Bronson at this period, and he's got a fresh dye job on his beard and his hair and stuff. And he's dressed nice and stuff, He looks like he can't hardly open his eyes. So I don't know if he was diabetic. I don't know if he was, blind, but he looks like he's having trouble seeing and stuff. But he sings the song, man, and he's struggling to sing that song. But whenever he can't sing something, he's sitting on a stool. He holds that microphone stand out in the audience, man. He's playing showman the whole time. I mean, he was a great showman, even though he was in really bad condition at this spot, man. But it's cool. It's probably on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube, man. I'm sure it's on. It's a great show to see those guys all play together. And it's a shame, man. All those every one of those original Molly Hatchet guys are gone. At the end of the concert, they're thanking everybody. He's thanking everybody for being there and all. And he says, and Dwayne Roland's a pussy.
Oh wow!
Evidently, Dwayne wouldn't show up for some reason.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I need to get that, and I need to get.
You don't find if it's not on YouTube, I'll make you a copy and mail it to you.
I need to get a copy of that. I want to buy it. That Kansas. What's it called?
I think it's called Sail On. It's a box set. It's a CD box set. So it's only like 2 CDs and a DVD, I believe. So it's probably cheap. It's stuff like that's really cheap now. I'm sure you can find it.
Right on, guys. Well, you got anything else to say before we call it a night?
I don't think so.
I have to give you an update on Judas Priest next week.
Yeah, next week. Join us on
next week. Next week we have a special guest.
That's right.
You want to say who?
No, let him figure it out.
It's, in my opinion, a freaking legend that sang on the band he was in's best album. Just say that. He only sang on one album from a band that's been around forever. And in my opinion, the album he sang on was the best one. And no, we're not getting John Corabi on his show next week. Not John Corabi.
He'll be on the following.
I think he sang on their best CD. Tune in next week and find out.
Yeah, it'll be very cool. He will be here.
Look, the guesses are already started.
Well, let's leave before they keep guessing, because I don't want to see what they have to say. So Wayne, thank you. Tony, thank you as always. And everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in to Almost Human Live. We will be back next week. So schmack 'em a gob.